Hi, this is Dave Ledoux, host of the gardening podcast Back to My Garden. This is a quick rundown of my top 5 favorite gardening podcasts from 2014. Note, I did not include my own podcast on the list. You can find Back to My Garden on iTunes at www.backtomygarden.com/iTunes. Podcast favorite number 5, A Gardener's Notebook with Douglas Welch. Doug was gracious enough to be a guest on Back to My Garden and knocked it out of the park. Douglas is a pioneer in the world of podcasting, food blogging, and new media, and he's a heck of a great gardener. Residing in Southern California, he battles the drought, heat, and unique challenges to create his own oasis of peace and enjoyment. Douglas is an Amazon author and has been podcasting since 2004, literally 14 days after the word podcast was invented. You'll find him warm, approachable, and willing to share loads of gardening wisdom and experience. Number 4, Growing a Greener World with Joe Lample. Joe Lample is the modern equivalent of gardening royalty in North America. He's the executive producer and host of one of the most popular gardening TV shows in history. Growing a Greener World on PBS entertains and educates over 1 million loyal viewers on sustainability, horticulture, and green living. Joe is a new media enthusiast, sharing his gardening wisdom via podcast, syndicated columns, and books around the world. A Southern gentleman, his wry humor and kind spirit shine through when he encourages the world to say goodbye to store-bought tomatoes. Joe is one of the most gracious gardening experts in the world, and I'm a huge fan. Number 3, Timber Press Podcast. If you love gardening books, Timber Press is for you. You'll discover up-and-coming authors before anyone hears of them. You'll get special discounts and deals, tons of tips and ideas, and a lot of gardening pleasure. If you ever dream of writing your own gardening memoirs, you'll definitely want to know and befriend the team at Timber Press. Number 2, Garden Nerd Tip of the Week. Christy Wilhelmi is a tremendous gardener. She's author of the beloved Gardening for Geeks book and is one of the most popular podcasts on iTunes for the entire gardening community. She loves heirloom vegetables and teaches organic gardening classes and food garden design. Christy's message is simple. She empowers people to confidently grow more of their own food, to be more self-reliant, and to reduce pollution and waste. Every episode of her podcast is chock full of great gardening ideas. And number 1, my favorite gardening podcast of last year, I guess I need a drum roll. Number 1 is Vegetable Gardening with Mike the Gardener. Mike was kind enough to have me on his amazing show not once, but twice in 2014. And for that, I have to give him the nod for the top spot. He has over 250,000 fans on Facebook, and his vegetable gardening podcast is loaded to the brim with great guests, tips, and ideas. Mike, on a personal note, thank you for your mentoring and support and helping us in the early launch days of Back to My Garden. There you go, my quick list of favorite gardening podcasts in 2014. For a special report outlining my top 20 favorite garden writers, visit www.backtomygarden.com/top20.